My last book, which I think is probably been one of the most game-changing in terms of how I think about it, actually comes from a knowledge management guru called Dave Snowden. And he is the creator of a framework called the CYNEFIN framework. Now, CYNEFIN is a Welsh word that sort of means habitat. And what his framework and in the context of knowledge management essentially was a decision support and a decision making framework for senior leaders when you're dealing with complex situations where things are volatile, where things are uncertain, where you do not know. It's very lot of ambiguity is there in the information and the data. And if you think about it, chronic pain is a perfect example of a condition where we as a clinician are never fully aware of the entire series of what happens in a patient's life, what happens in their life, and what exactly is happening in their body for them to have a flare-up of pain. It's very difficult to be precise about the diagnostic structure, and that's where the CYNEFIN framework really makes an impact. It talks about how would we react and how would we make sense of the world we live in so that we can decide what action to take. It's a powerful framework in terms of understanding that a lot of things that we do in medicine, we pretend that it is clear that there are best practice guidelines or good practice guidelines, when actually most of medicine and especially chronic health conditions is in what Snowden calls the complex domain, which is part of being in a complex adaptive system. And in the complex domain, there are always going to be the potential for failing. So we need to have multiple parallel probes, meaning that whoever is there, whether we live in the complex domain, which is what life is, or our patients in the complex part of managing pain, we need to be able to giving them the choice of trying multiple small things. And that's partly what's reflected in my book as well when I talk about the pain-free mindset, is that it could be that medications could work, or interventions, or nutrition, or exercise, or sleep. But it is important to give a package of care rather than saying only one thing at a time. And that really is the message of his book and his framework, which is important in us understanding how to support our patients. If there is a very clear connection between cause and effect, then you can go for a clear domain and best practice. If there isn't a proper understanding between cause and effect, you might need investigations and an expert can be there. That's the complicated domain. But otherwise, when you're in the complex domain, it's about trying multiple small, safe to fail options so that we find what actually seems to work for the patient and then find a way to amplify it. It's a hugely influential framework which has been there for almost 2 decades now. It's now been looked at in many healthcare systems across the world and definitely in the Welsh health boards to say how should we be making decisions when we are in a complex and wicked system. And I think that really applies to every decision that we do in life or in healthcare. So these are the top 3 books that I would recommend. One is going to be Adam Grant's Think Again, Bessel van der Kolk's Body Keeps a Score, and Dave Snowden's The CYNEFIN Framework. Well, this was a slightly longer video than I planned. I hope you enjoyed it and found it of value. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching the videos. I hope you're getting value from them. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications on when the next videos are to be released.